Welcome back to the Life and Stride podcast. This is episode 215. On this episode, wow, this was a fun episode. We had both Ben Felton and Jake Barraclough on. Ben helped me recap and talk about some interesting results from Valencia this past weekend. And then we had Jake hop on the back half of the call to talk about his training block and race. And then we just kind of bantered a bit for the last 15 or 20. So really fun episode to have both of them on. Both of them are just really fun to talk to. So hope you enjoy it. If you do, please leave a review, drop a comment, share with a friend. And yeah, we'll catch you on 216. We have a big week coming this week with a lot of fun guests. So stay tuned. When we're running through Norton Commons or the Pewee Valley area in Louisville, Kentucky, it's pretty easy to spot Mason Construction Home. The attention to detail, the quality, the stunning design, you can't miss it. It stands out. We aren't just saying that either. Our own co-host Scotty trusted Mason Construction to build his forever home, and he and his family couldn't be happier. Don't tell Scotty this, but we're at his house a lot because we love the home. He's all right too, though. If you live in the Louisville or Southern Indiana area and are thinking about building your forever home or doing a remodel, there is nobody else to trust with this project than Mason Construction. The link to their website is in our show notes. Click on the request information option and start the conversation about what your forever home could look like. Essentially, yeah, here in Kentucky, we got like a pretty bad snow this morning and no one was expecting it. And
Yeah.
I drive a truck that's like rear wheel drive. So like the power goes to the back wheels only. And it's like really bad in the snow.
Yeah.
And so like I was coming back from we ran at like 5:30 this morning. And I'm driving home. I was sliding everywhere. And
Jeez.
so I was really nervous about that. But my wife is a police officer and
Ah,
she has
okay.
like a good car for snow, like her police car. So I was like, just meet me like somewhere and I'll like get in your car and we'll go to our appointment. So made it to the appointment, but and I had mentioned this on a podcast already. My wife is 12 weeks pregnant. So this was our first trimester check-in and everything was good. But um, I didn't have time to go home after my run because the drive was taking so long in the snow.
Yeah.
So I had to go in my running tights,
Oh,
which was
nice.
funny. So yeah, I think I was the first guy to ever go into the doctor's office there with running tights on. So
Good luck, I'm sure.
it was a great look. Yeah, yeah. Definitely turned some heads in a bad way for sure. So
And
it was
you've been out for running it this morning. How's running when it snows that much?
so it wasn't too bad when we finished running, but it got pretty bad after the run.
Oh, okay.
There was a little slipping and sliding. I Last week I fell and I bruised my elbow, but this time no falls, so we're good.
Fair
Yeah.
enough. If I saw any signs of snow, I'd be jumping straight on the treadmill. So credit for getting out of there.
So one of my friends that's in town for the holidays. He lives in Ireland, but he's from here, and he was saying like there's never any snow in Ireland, so it's been different for him for sure.
Yeah. We used to get snow like 3 to 5 years ago, I'd say, but I don't feel like we've had any serious snowfall for a long time now. Maybe a shift in the weather because of global warming, but yeah, maybe we'll get some snow this winter, but we haven't had any yet. A few mornings where it's been like ice on the cars and it's been freezing temperatures, but no snow just yet. It's like
Nice.
it's just above freezing, but like wet and rainy all the time, which is my least favorite weather to run in. I'd rather there be snow, to be honest, because when it's cold and wet, it's just yeah, it's not very fun. But
Miserable. Yeah, I agree. Well, then I would love to catch up a bit on. I know you've had a bit of an injury. What was the injury? And then are you back? I think you're back running a bit now. So what's been going on for
yeah,
you training wise?
yeah, just after sort of Chicago, I tried to get back into training a little bit, and I just think my body was quite beaten up from that race. It's taken me a lot longer than normal to bounce back from the marathon. So I tried to get back into training. I took a week off, then slowly built things back, and then I think 2 weeks back into training, I had this like quad niggle like come up,
Mm.
um, and that sort of put a spanner in the works when it came to doing Valencia, which is what we're jumping on the call to talk about today.
Yep.
So I decided not to do Valencia, and I've just been sort of like nursing this niggle in my quad for the last sort of month now. It's definitely getting better, and I'm back to some running, but it wasn't it wasn't good enough to be able to jump straight back into training. So I've been
Sure.
doing a lot of work on the indoor bike, and I think last week I ran 100 kilometers and cycled about 170k on the bike. So I'm still getting in a solid amount of training, just not quite back to full running volume just yet.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I think you've maybe picked out a race for the spring, but I don't think you've announced it yet. But
Yeah.
so you do have a kind of a race you're eyeing though for
Yeah,
the
yeah.
spring.
I'm not secret about the races I'm doing. I just haven't like done a hard launch of it, I guess, across the YouTube and Instagram. But
Yeah,
yeah, looking a bit longer term with my coach Victor, we're going to do Barcelona half in February. So that's still like I think 10 weeks away, and
nice.
then the big one for me will be Rotterdam Marathon, which was 18 weeks yesterday. So in terms of
Nice.
training for those races, they're still so long away. I just want to focus on getting healthy. I'm looking at doing quite a lot more work in the gym and trying to get as strong as I can in the winter so that when it comes to next year, I can lay down some quick times over the longer distances. So yeah,
Yeah. That's kind of I added the strength work for the first time really ever in my running career after I came off that stress fracture over summer.
yeah,
I think it's helping. I've been putting in some pretty heavy mileage and no injuries so far. So
that's good.
I think it helps more than I realized it would. So it's good stuff.
Yeah, definitely, especially in terms of like injury prevention. Like,
Yeah.
I'm not going to the gym to try and get really, really strong. It's more of like just having enough strength to get by, you know? So
Yeah.
it's definitely going to be part of my weekly routine at least twice now until I get back to running like 100 miles a week, and then I'll probably jack it all in.
Yeah. 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 That's and
I won't
we're
do that.
about to. Yeah. 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 Well, we're about to talk to Jake Barraclough here soon, and his like thought process with lifting, from my understanding, is like he's doing such high like volume. He's like getting enough strength in his legs just from that to like
Yeah, that's
not do
true. Yeah.
the pure lifting stuff. But yeah, I don't know. We'll have to ask him if he's thinking about implementing that.
He uses a backpack, doesn't he, in his room, just puts a load of rice in there and does some squats and stuff. And then he says, yeah, that'll do. And obviously it works for him. So
Yeah,
yeah,
I mean, fair
maybe I
play.
need to do that at home.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, he's a 214 guy. You can't doubt it. So is
Definitely.
what it is. Well, let's we can touch on Valencia a little bit before he hops on. Um, we'll start with the women's race. So I'm not gonna lie, I did a preview of this race and I nailed it,
Yeah.
like in terms of like kind of what I was thinking.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh, so the women's race, it was Jocelyn Chepkoski and Paris Jepchirchir. They're both proven champions out of Kenya. They both are in 214,
Yeah.
very fast times. I was really impressed, but then there's another female athlete. I think she DNF'd from Ethiopia who had the fastest time going into the race, but I think
Oh,
she
okay.
DNF'd. She was
Yeah.
with them
She's not on the
for like
results, so
10K.
she must have done.
Yeah, I think she dropped. So she didn't really have any like good recent race results. So I wasn't expecting her to perform that well, but and then there's a couple Americans on here too. Emma Bates ran 225. I know she wanted to run faster than that. Um, do you think like the weather affected some of the like European and like American runners here? It was a bit warm.
Yeah, I think the weather definitely played a factor. Obviously, Valencia is known for often having like perfect conditions. So a lot of athletes that pick Valencia, they're going there to run like a crazy fast time. Everybody's goal going into Valencia is like the time they can run on a day where everything goes perfectly. So I think when the weather is ever so slightly warmer, then people still kind of they're going to Valencia to run a fast time, so they don't necessarily adjust things too much. Uh, and I think it's just one of those races where everyone just absolutely goes for it. And as we both know in the marathon, if you go for it a little bit too much, then it can mean you end up with a DNF or you don't hit your time. So I wasn't surprised to see quite a lot of athletes were just off what they were maybe hoping for, other than a few like anomalies that I'm sure we can talk through. But
Yeah.
um, yeah, it was good to see a good race on the women's side between Jocelyn and Perez Chepchepchir. I've actually done a core workout with Jocelyn Chepkoski out in
Did
Kenya.
no
So that's
way.
my claim to fame.
That's cool. That's a cool story. I remember, you were showing those on your channel, and they look
Yeah.
brutally hard. Uh,
Yeah, they're like
oof,
45 minutes like continuous with virtually no breaks. I mean, and they're doing these workouts at least twice a week. So maybe that's
yeah,
the secret to a 2:14 marathon.
and a strong core is underrated in running for sure. A lot of like physical therapists, physios will say how important the core is. So the Kenyans really take that seriously, it seems.
Yeah, a lot of the top Kenyan coaches are always pushing home that like do your core because it's kind of like
Yeah.
the engine of the body. Like if your core is strong, then it looks after everything else in terms of your biomechanics. So
Yep.
um,
Uh,
definitely something to take away from that.
is there anything else in the women's race that stood out to you before you want to touch on some of these men's results?
Yeah, I think I was surprised to see a European athlete on the podium. So the
Yeah.
lady who came third from Belgium, Chloe Herbiet.
Yep.
Probably butchering that pronunciation, but yeah, I mean, she's had the race of her life to run 2:20,
Yep.
and she was closely followed by Vainio of Alicia from
Finland. Yeah.
Finland. Yeah, so the fastest ever run by a Nordic female runner,
Wow.
and I think she took some big chunk off that record. Like she's almost run sub 2:20 as well.
Yeah.
And then the other one that kind of stood out for me again in the top five was Jess Stenson. Absolutely crushed the Australian record by like a good minute or so, 2:21. So
Wow.
yeah, some big runs in the top five there for those women.
It seems like there's kind of two races going on where you have the top two women kind of duking it out, and then there's
Yeah,
probably like a pretty strong second pack there for a while. There's several in the 223 range, and then there's 220, 220, 221, and third, fourth, fifth. So kind of
yeah.
interesting how it played out.
Yeah, I think on the women's side, it was a little bit harder to follow that second pack
Yeah.
because it was so focused on the two Kenyan runners up front. And
Yeah.
then those, the ladies in third, fourth, and fifth were like surrounded by maybe 100 men running in the
Yeah.
2:20s. So it's always really difficult to pick them out. I think the Valencia live stream does a pretty good job of it, especially when people are like on for national records. That's how I knew about the Finnish and Belgian girl because the
Yeah.
the stream like jumped to them. But yeah, it's not as easy to follow as the men's packs, I guess.
No, yeah, definitely not. Yeah, that's a great point. Yeah, I mean, someone like Nick Bester, who was trying to run like 219, 218, right? He was probably slotted right in there with some of those top women for a while, I would imagine.
Yeah,
So there's probably a lot of guys trying to break 220 in Valencia. Um, yeah, well, I was like all the American women that I were hoping would run really well. Kind of Emma Bates again was the best one, 225, but we had Kiera D'Amato in there, who was a I think 219 PB, and she's like 41 now. I think she's still looking to run fast. She's training with Connor Mance's group, but I think she didn't quite have her day, unfortunately, the back half. So
yeah,
uh,
2:28
yeah,
Kira run, which still solid run,
solid run. Yeah,
just outside the top 20 in 21st. But yeah, I'm sure both Emma and her would have been targeting a lot faster than that. I don't know what their form was going into it, but hasn't
yeah.
Emma run like 2:18,
I think her
2:19?
PR is 223. So
Oh, okay.
yeah, I
Oh,
think
so
that's
she wasn't far off it at all then.
no, yeah, and I think on a warm day, like that's a
Yeah.
pretty, probably pretty compatible to 223 on like a good weather day. So it seems like the Africans like are less bothered by like kind of the warmer temperatures than maybe because they train in that more typically, like more mild weather, and then the
Yeah.
Americans maybe don't train as much in like warmer weather. I'm not sure. Uh, it's funny on my college team here, we'd have some Kenyan athletes, and they'd always like dress way more than we did. If it was like not that cold, they'd have like jackets, tights on, and stuff.
Yeah.
They're kind of funny. So,
Yeah, I
uh,
always find that when I'm training out there is even on like a 20-degree day here in Kenya, I don't know what that is in Fahrenheit, but a warm day in Kenya, all of the athletes will at least start in like a jacket.
yeah.
So they're getting that constant heat benefit, heat training all the time.
Yeah, oh yeah. That heat training pays off. Victor Schmangs knows a little bit about that. He's the heat training goat right there. Oh yeah.
Apparently it's because the Kenyan athletes like have strong like association with being cold and getting illness. So they're always wanting to run hot basically because yeah, if you get cold, you get ill. And I guess
Yeah.
if you're living in conditions that are less than ideal, then if you get cold, then it's going to be a lot of a much harder struggle to get warm again. So I
Yeah.
think that's where the tradition started, and now it's just like common that everybody runs in a jacket. You won't see people in t-shirts unless they're doing
Intervals.
like workouts.
Yeah, for sure. You want to touch on some of these? The men's race was really fun, man. There's a lot of like really fun
Yeah,
results
yeah.
here.
Again, like
Yeah.
John Career was the out and out favorite based off
Yeah.
his PB, and like after he pulled out of Chicago, I kind of knew that he was going to like recharge and go again. I feel like
Yeah.
in Chicago he was gunning for the world record, and when that kind of fell apart, it was like, okay, my race is over, drop out and maybe look again. And then I thought maybe he was going to go for the world record again in Valencia, but then it was a little bit hot. And then watching the sort of them go through halfway in like, I think they went through in like 61:40,
Yep.
61:46. So I knew the world record wasn't going to be on, but I actually went for a long run on the race day. I only watched the first half of the race and then caught up with it later. But I knew that based off the way John was running, like in the second half, he was going to run 2:02 at least. So
Yeah.
yeah, I knew he was gonna take the dub, so that wasn't necessarily a shock. But then to see Amanal and the Norwegian guy Awet Kibrab
Yeah.
run for second and third, like 2:04 for them guys is incredible. Both of them also train out in a 10.
Do
So
they? Oh, cool.
yeah, I've seen them out in Kenya. I've had coffee with both of them, so
Really?
yeah, it's pretty cool to see people that you've seen like out on the streets of Kenya come away with some big results. Um,
There's an Instagram page where there's this Kenyan coach and he like films when
yeah,
he's giving the guys a workout. Have you seen that page? And like
yeah,
sometimes
coach.
Petros is in that group. It's kind of funny.
Yeah, I follow that page as well. So I know you're
Yeah.
talking about Petros is always in those videos, like doing something funky. So
Yeah, yeah. He's like, today we were doing 10 by 1K on off, like stuff like that. It's so funny.
yeah, they did like
Oh,
6 by 5K the other day, and all of the 5Ks were sub 15. I was like, okay, these guys are in some serious shape. So
they're legit, man. And Petros just won the world champs marathon too in epic fashion. So he's having a great year.
didn't he just get pipped? I think he came second.
Did he get, was it, so
It
he
was the
was,
sprint finish. Remember he just got pipped by like I can't remember where the other guy was from.
I think I'm trying to, yeah, it was, there was the Italian guy in third, and
Yeah,
then it was the Tanzanian athlete. He's from
yeah,
Tanzania.
he
I don't
just
remember
beat
what the
him.
order was. You think the Tanzanian guy won? I'll have to go back. That was an
Yeah, I
epic
remember
race
seeing
though.
some like crazy stat that it was like there was less of a winning margin between the marathon than the 100-meter sprint. Like it was down to the like tenth of a second. But I think the Tanzanian guy just beat Petros, so that's two second places. So it's not a bad that's not a bad few marathons, but yeah,
Yeah, yeah. Good on him, man. It's been
big
a good
German
year.
record.
And yeah, German record, and then Hendrik Pfeiffer from Germany as well ran 206 in this race,
Yeah.
and there's another German in 207. So Germany, it was a great day for Germany.
Yeah, a lot of good European results in that top 10.
Then I gotta say, so before when I was doing the preview, I was like, I think John's in pretty good shape. I don't think he's gonna get the world record. And then I was like, Sisse Lemma has run 201, but he doesn't have any good results like very recently. He dropped out
Yeah.
of Boston. That was his only result this year. He dropped out of Boston. So I was like, I don't think he's in world record shape. So I thought John would run between like 201.30 and like kind of 202.30. So I wasn't super surprised to see. I figured like if he was going to enter this race late, like he probably was in pretty good shape, but I
Yeah.
didn't see a world record going down in this situation overall. If Sawe was there, a different story though. I think Sawe is world record eligible kind of guy.
Yeah, definitely. It would have been great to see them two duke it out. But yeah, I agree. Cisse looked like he was struggling from the very start, so I wasn't
Yeah, yeah.
surprised to see him fall off it a little bit.
Are you a runner? Do you need running shoes, gear, apparel, more? If so, I got the scoop for you. Kencom's running store is the best place to buy any running supplies you need. Located in the St. Matthews area of Louisville, Kentucky, the friendly staff will take excellent care of you. If you are a newer runner and need help finding the right shoes, or you're looking to get plugged into the Louisville running community, this is where you need to start. If you don't live in Louisville, check out werunlou.com. We have a discount code and the link to the website in the show notes, and the shipping is free for purchases over $100. I promise you, Matt and team are the friendliest people you can meet. Don't hesitate. Get your running supplies at Ken Combs Running Store and support an amazing local business. Dude, Jake, what's up, man?
Boys, how we doing? Hang on, let me just connect in my
All
headphones.
good? Can you hear us?
Can you hear me right?
There's 3%. Maybe some dodgy Spanish Wi-Fi.
It's horrendous.
He might be back in the UK. I think he said,
yeah,
I think he's back in the UK. Oh yeah, he's coming back. I think, yeah, he said UK time, so I think that's a little different than Spanish time, but like it's an hour different.
I watched his live stream after the race, and I recognized the photo in the background. So I know he's definitely still in Valencia. He's not made it back yet. Yeah.
Oh, okay, cool. Dude, well, there's another. This is maybe the most exciting result for me in this race, dude. Alex Yee, what an absolute legend, dude.
Unbelievable.
Second fastest UK all time behind Sir Mo Farah himself.
Yeah.
I mean, I stalked his Strava a little bit before the race, and I was like, he's probably in 206 shape, and he pulled it off. And he said it was like maybe the best like overall result of his life. Then like, I mean, what was your reaction to that?
Yeah, I was really shocked, to be honest, to see Alex do so well. Like, he ran 2:11 in London, so we knew he was good at the marathon, but I don't think anyone predicted that he was going to go like second Brit of all time. I think in the UK we were maybe more focused on like Phil Sessman after he ran 2:07 in Amsterdam. So I was expecting Phil to be like first Brit and then Alex close behind. But then when I finished my long run and just opened up my Instagram, it was just like Alex Yee. Every single post was Alex Yee. So yeah, like credit to him. He puts in the work and he's absolutely smashed it. So yeah, biggest headlines come out of the Valencia Marathon for me was seeing Alex do that.
Yeah, they were putting some work in together before the race too. I saw him and Sussman, and then what's his name, Emil Karras, all putting in some work together. So that looked pretty fun.
Emil paced him, I think. So I think he went to like 20 miles. So yeah, they're a good trio.
That helps a lot for sure.
Definitely.
Dude, Jake, what's going on, man?
Mate, this Wi-Fi is absolutely shocking. Hang on, can you hear me all good?
Yeah, we can.
Yeah, it's all good.
Hear us.
Okay, there we go. I can see you clear enough, Chris. Ben, I'm seeing about 2 pixels in your screen, but I can just about hear you coming through.
Nice. Yeah, dude. I didn't give Jake the heads up you'd be on, so I don't know if he's surprised to see you or not.
I wasn't expecting you. Slightly different looking host than usual, but this is a great surprise. Here we go. Are we live as well?
We're live, man. We've been
we're rolling.
So Ben, yeah, we're rolling. Ben came on a little early, and we talked about some of the other results from Valencia, and we were just kind of talking about the men's race and Alex Yee crushing it out there. So inspiring performance out of him.
Man, he's a legend, isn't he? Crazy. Yeah. Second quickest Brit of all time. Second marathon. And he's a triathlete. It's just, he's a, freakish talent. Like, I feel like the ceiling's even higher. I mean, the fact that, he's managed to somehow put away Phil, who had a ridiculous run as well. Like, he smashed it too. But yeah, the fact that Yee managed to even top him is crazy. Like, I had a feeling with watching their YouTube series. I've been loving following actually both of their channels, and the fact that, Alex was holding his own in sessions and stuff, I had a feeling that there was something big on the cards, but 206, that is filthy. Yeah, unreal.
Yeah. Oh, go ahead then.
He's one of those athletes that I feel like learn like super quick from people he surrounds himself with. So when he did London and ran 2:11, I could see like he was disappointed with that. And like for a first marathon, it was obviously incredible, but he compares himself to like the best of the best. So when he didn't quite perform to what he thought his ability was, I knew that when it came to Valencia that he was going to be like a bit of a dark horse. He was keeping up with Phil, who's cemented himself as like a 2:7 runner now. So, and he was doing that with what looked like comfort. So I wasn't surprised to see him just topple it into the 2.6s, which is like, yeah, second fastest of all time. Mental.
He was doing some, so he was training with Emil a bit, and it seemed like they were doing some of that Canova style training, like towards the end of his build. Some like, because Emil's got his training from London when he ran what 206 in London and got third place. You
Yeah.
can see like the whole spreadsheet online, and it seemed like there was kind of some similar workouts in there. So that was kind of cool to see them doing some Canova style stuff. That was interesting for sure. Dude, well, Jake, what's going on, man? How are you feeling today? Is just yesterday, so it's pretty quick turnaround. How are we feeling?
I feel all right. Actually, I was slightly late jumping on. I managed to squeeze in another run just before this. Actually, physically, I don't feel too bad. I guess I haven't ran a marathon, so I shouldn't be that banged up. I hit
Yeah.
a solid half marathon. So actually, like muscle soreness, fatigue wise, I feel absolutely fine. I guess if you look at it on paper, it's easier than almost any of the marathon sessions I've done over the past couple months. But I guess, yeah, the place I got myself into was not ideal. It was a little bit of a messy race.
Yeah, I mean, it was a bit warm, like warmer than probably you were expecting Valencia to be, right? That's like wasn't super ideal conditions out there.
I mean, yeah, it was a little bit warm, but to be honest, I don't think that even played a part at all. With me, it
Yeah.
was more because almost off the start line, I'd say about 2K in, just mechanically, I felt like I'm sprinting. Like I'm hitting what 308 per K, 307. So that's what you need for a 212 marathon. Because my sort of thinking was I'm going to go off at that pace. If I feel great for 30K, try and pick it up a little bit, cut it down. Because sort of looking at sessions and stuff I'd done, I was thinking the sub 210s just a little bit too hot, like could be a bit fatal. But I thought go at 212 should be a much more conservative pace, a sensible way of running. I was thinking in my head, it was race smarter there. I changed up my whole motto completely, but clearly it didn't end up that way. And then, yeah, I'd say almost 3K in, it feels like I'm just effectively redlining, like I'm going as quick as I possibly can, but I'm, yeah, barely hitting my target marathon pace. The weirdest feeling. And I was thinking, oh, maybe this is a little sort of rough patch. You know, like in marathons,
Yeah.
I mean, you don't usually have it 3K into the race, but I'm like, okay, maybe we're just going through some strange little early sort of hiccup. So it's like, okay, let's just battle through to 5K. I hit there still on pace, and it just sort of effectively never got any better. I mean, it just got progressively worse from there. And I'm
Yeah.
effectively popping at about 10K. Like, I mean, in training, I've done plenty of 10Ks, like 2 minutes quicker. But at this point, this is effectively flat out feeling. And I guess just about made it to halfway. And then from then on, I think my brain had pretty much checked out, shut down. And it was just sort of, I don't know what I was thinking. I clearly should have stopped, but I think I was almost past the point of being able to process that. So I was just sort of locked into somehow just like, in my head, it's just, all right, I'm just still running. I guess this is my goal. I just keep going. And there was no real process of, I'm running like 4-minute K, 5-minute Ks, watching back some videos. I'm swaying all over the road, like
Oh my
complete
goodness.
mess. But yeah, it's a messy one. It'll be a fun race video, I reckon, watching back.
Yeah.
You pushed well beyond that red line then for a good 10 kilometers, and that's the result.
Pretty much, yeah. It's what's weird is that like heart rate wise and everything, it was actually lower than almost any marathon I've ever done. Like I'm usually, I think Gold Coast before I've averaged like 190. Tokyo I was maybe 185. Here I'm at around 180, just below. So like it's not physically a hard effort. It's like my body shouldn't be feeling like I'm flat out, but
Mm.
for some reason it's full effort on the day, even though the pace
Yeah.
isn't
You
quick.
kind of hope it's going to be the opposite on the day of the marathon, that paces in training are going to somewhat feel more comfortable, especially in the first sort of 10K of a marathon. Like you'd run loads of training runs at that pace, so it's not like you were just plucking a time out of thin air and thinking, yeah, I can run that. Like you had some data that backed it up. So yeah, just unusual that you felt that off from so early on.
Yeah, just a weird one. Yeah, I was thinking, oh, this is a pretty conservative approach. I was like, this doesn't seem like a crazy pace, but man, yeah, that was brutal.
Do you think the big time zone change played a factor in it? Like, what time was it in Tokyo or in Japan when, you were racing in Valencia?
Now I can't even pull out that excuse because I came out 10 days early. Like I
Oh,
went
okay.
back to the UK for a week before coming to Valencia. So I couldn't have been more prepared. I'm like, yeah, tick the time zone problem, like get the taper in. It was almost like everything was too smart. Clearly, it was not hard enough and far too sensible.
Yeah, yeah. I've raced in Los Angeles before, and we're on Eastern time, so it's 3 hours earlier there. And it was 1 a.m. my time when I raced in 10 p.m. in Los Angeles, and I had this total shocker, just like a horrible race. And it was just like I'm used to being asleep right now, so it was just way too late for me. So, uh, but yeah, okay, yeah, that makes sense. I mean, 10 days early, that's smart. And it was cool to see you back home in the UK. And it was kind of funny in your video. You're like, where is everybody on the street? Like, in Japan, it's like it's packed, but it's funny. You're in London, which is like a massive city, but it's kind of funny your reaction to being home.
Yeah, it was a fun video. I think people like the sort of it's a complete switch up, like a bit of a family content as well. Introduce
Yeah.
them as little side characters in. A good addition there. And yeah,
Yeah.
it's good running back. You forget like London, even though it's a massive city, there's so many parks and stuff. Yeah, it's a good place for running, especially coming from Tokyo, which I think both of you guys have been right over to Tokyo.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I've done a few,
Yeah.
dude. When I was in Tokyo last year, I saw you run by me 2 different days in Yoyogi, but I didn't like know you very well yet. I just like started looking at your channel, and you were like, you know, much smaller page. You've exploded lately, but I saw you run by a couple times, and I was too shy to say what's up. So I wish I did, though. I wish I did, but it's
Next
all good.
time, you got to come back.
Oh, I will. I don't know, Ben, what your experience in Tokyo was like, but I had an amazing, I mean, culturally, like so different than anything I've ever been around. So very cool experience.
Yeah. We came out with ASICs at the start of the year.
Yeah.
And we decided to add like a week on to our like PR trip basically, and it was the best decision we made. In hindsight, I wish we'd stayed for like at least a month because we kind of went to the Mount Fuji area and did all the touristy stuff, which was like incredibly beautiful. And yeah, managed to do a little bit of running in Japan as well. Did the Yoyogi Park, met up with Jake for I can't remember how far we ran, 5 or 10K, which was nice to see your part. And then I also did like a 5K race, which was
Yeah.
I think like a week after I'd done a marathon, so I
Yeah.
was pretty cooked. But I used one of the I don't know what the loop's called near the stadium where you do a lot of your sessions, Jake. That was pretty good running there.
It's a classic. Not so fun after you've done about 50 laps during a session, but great for
Yeah,
5K.
that's where you did that ultra marathon, that like Wings for Life run, right?
Yeah, I've forgotten that. Yeah, that must have been about 65 laps or something. Pitch black.
Crazy.
Yeah, middle of the night. That was a fun one.
Then, Jake, I'd love to like go back a little bit to your build. So I guess the build to Valencia really started in Nagano, right? When you were training with was it the Suzuki team and you were kind of doing the base building in the hills? Is that kind of when the build started?
Yeah, I guess I don't have like super set defined
Yeah.
periods. I guess because the mileage is always high. It's sort of I'm effectively training for a marathon year round. But I'd say like that kick started it. Quality, just like 1 month up in the mountains, marathon month mode, just locked in. There's nothing up there except you're just running, and then the boys are like eating, sleeping, chilling. I'm doing a bit of my YouTube editing, very chill. Like I mean, even compared to places like Font, in big place in Europe, people go, or I guess like Boulder, Flagstaff, these kind of places, there's not even like cafes and stuff. Like it's so remote. There's genuinely nothing there.
Mm.
But yeah, it's pretty good fun. Like just hanging out with this Japanese team, great practice. Like my baby Japanese, I feel like I improved a whole lot during that time, and just getting dragged along by these weapons, like all sort of. I think I was on paper. I was the slowest coming in. There's maybe 12 guys in the team, all have run 2:13 or under, and just getting pulled around these sessions is unreal. So it started well, the vlog, for sure.
Yeah, yeah. And then after that, you kind of moved into the period where you were racing a lot, right? You're doing like those marathons and some half marathons on the weekends, kind of like using them as like kind of steady long runs. And it seemed like most of those went pretty well, right? Like, would you say like that part of your build went pretty well, like all of those kind of races you hopped into?
Yeah, for sure. So it was like once I came back from the mountains, I had the problem where in Tokyo, I've got no one to train with. All the sort of pro teams, elite runners are outside of Tokyo in these either on the edge or in different places. They're super exclusive. So I was like, all right, if I don't have training partners, let's just hop in a race every week and use that as my big session for the week. Just
Yeah.
like there's going to be supporters there, there's going to be fast runners, and it's great fun. Like I love racing, and that went great. It was a mix of what 10Ks, halves, full marathon, kind of hitting all the different zones, like the key sessions, and working in some of my like marathon sessions during a marathon race, a few like half marathons, different sort of stuff. I felt like I was ticking all the boxes, and that went all pretty smoothly.
Yeah, yeah. So we just had on Ethan Shuley, you know him,
Yeah,
right? He just ran 211 in Covey, man. You guys need to get some miles in together. Maybe he's training at a not quite as high volume as you, but pretty high level. I think you guys would be like pretty compatible in workouts, maybe.
yeah. I listened to that episode. That was a good one. Yeah, he's that natural talent's ridiculous. Like, as in, I feel like he could be the level of like a Clayton Young, Conor Mans, because he's
Yeah,
only been running properly for like 2 years is after
yeah,
having so long off. And he's just,
yeah,
he's got so much natural speed. You can tell, like, we've linked up for a lot of easy runs, a couple sort of marathon sessions, but if it comes to a speed session, he's tearing me apart. Like,
yeah.
I feel like I'm flat out. I couldn't break 60 seconds for a 400.
Oh,
So,
me too. Yeah.
yeah, you're the same. You're
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Me too. Yeah, I ran 14:25 in college in the 5K, but I don't think I could break 15 right now. And I'm hoping I think I'm in around 220 shape maybe for Houston in 5 weeks, but yeah, I don't think I could break 15 right now to be honest with you. So it is what it is,
marathon training, it definitely kills those fast twitch fibers, turns you into a
Yeah,
proper
yeah.
cart horse.
Yeah, Ben, you got pretty good top end speed, don't you? Like you have some pretty good traction speed,
Yeah,
I feel like.
I feel like I'm kind of a little bit at the other end of the spectrum in terms of whenever I train for a marathon, I seem to get really like 5K, 10K fit. And
Yeah.
actually, if you look at my times on paper, I'm probably much more talented as a 10.5 marathon runner, and I haven't quite been able to convert that into the longer stuff. So yeah, maybe I need 250K weeks in my plan.
That's all it takes, mate. Simple.
Yeah, just whack it up. I certainly wouldn't. I wouldn't last very long at that. I mean, I've been running like I think in my Chicago block I did some like 160, 170K weeks, and that was already very much the top end for me at the moment. So yeah, I will look to maybe increase that slightly over the next few years, but I think I'll stick. I've come up with a good plan to sort of increase my volume, but without running more miles, and that's to use more cross training because I feel like I'm a little bit more injury prone. I've had some issues that keep cropping up, and if I add more and more mileage, then the likelihood of those injuries just coming up more frequently is higher. So yeah, the bike is going to be my new secret weapon going into next year, I think.
Yeah.
If it's good enough for Alex Yee, then I feel like it's good enough for anyone.
Yeah,
He's run what, a 206 of about 60 miles a week, maybe.
I know. When
It's crazy.
I did a long run yesterday, and then in the evening I was like, I definitely couldn't run again. Like I'm knackered from the long run, but I could sit on the bike for a bit. Like if I was Alex Yee right now, I've just smashed out a long run this morning. I'll probably jump on the bike. So yeah, lo and behold, got on the bike and managed another 90 minutes of zone 2. So I'm making gains after being inspired by that performance. There's also a triathlete that lives like more locally to me, and we have like the Essex Championships. Jake, you'll kind of know, like it is quite competitive, and we had like a 5K road race last year, and this guy that nobody in the running scene had ever heard of just turned up and run like 14:05 and won the whole thing, and turns out he's like a under 20 like UK triathlete. So there's obviously some secret sauce in the triathlon world that we can definitely learn from as marathon runners. So I'm going to try and tap into a little bit of that in this winter.
Oh yeah. Jake, I've been dancing around like 230K weeks the past few weeks, and people have been telling me how are the legs feeling at that volume. And I think, at first there's like an adjustment period where like the quads are really heavy. But then once you kind of get over that, because like for a couple weeks there, the workouts were kind of hurting from that. Like my legs weren't great on workout days. But I think there's like an adjustment period when you like raise volume. And I was doing up to, 200Ks my last build. But yeah, I think like when you go up, incrementally to like something like that, once you get past that adjustment period and like, workouts start going well again, it is crazy. I've noticed like the fitness that you get like week over week is like I can feel like, my long runs and workouts, like huge gains just like every single week. Do you feel that when you like put in those like 250K like huge weeks? Do you feel like that like big jumps like week over week in fitness?
Yeah, 100%. It's one of them where yeah, it's probably a risky approach to training, but
Yeah.
I think if you can handle it, it's you're gonna have it like you can't help but get fit. And it's exactly what you
Yeah.
said with I'm the same. Every time I've stepped it up for a couple weeks, my quads are just in absolute pieces. I'm like struggling to session. I'm like, there's no way I'm gonna be able to hack this. And then a couple
Yeah.
weeks later, suddenly that's completely normal. It's like the body adapts. It's that true. It's that sort of transition phase where probably a lot of people, that's where they back off. Probably the sensible thing to do, but that's when, yeah, I've always just kept running through it. And then once it adapts, it's like you just level up a whole notch and then you start smashing the sessions. But I think it's what I try and say, especially when I was building from, because I had like a long-term injury and built from like 0 to
Yeah.
200K over the course of maybe 5 months or so. And during that time, I didn't really care about sessions at all. Like barely did any speed work, barely did any quality. It was purely focused on just getting through the easy running. And then it's like once you've built that base, you've adapted, then you can add in the speed work. But I think that building the foundation is the key. Like you can't increase quality and quantity. That's where yeah, you're gonna get an injury or something. But I think yeah, if you gradually pick it up and just yeah, keep it easy, keep it controlled. I think a lot of people could probably do a bit higher mileage.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. I mean, I'm honestly, and I don't know. I know you guys maybe do your easy days a little slower or a little faster than me, but I'm over 5 minute Ks like most of my easy days. Like I'm like properly jogging them out there. So, and that helps a lot too. I feel like if I was going, quite a bit faster, I'd have a lot harder time recovering and having good workout days. So I'm just like plodding along 115 beats per minute out there on my easy days. So, uh, I don't know.
That's the
I
key.
think
Keep the easies easy, hard days hard.
yeah, 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 for sure. Oh, go ahead, Ben. Were you gonna say something?
Yeah, the only thing I can kind of relate to with that is like if you think about threshold training, if you push a little bit too hard in your threshold workouts, then you can't do that much volume at threshold. But if you dial it
Mm.
down a little bit and focus more on the LT1 stuff, suddenly you can do so much more volume of threshold work in a week. So I guess the same principle probably applies to easy running. I've not actually like tried this myself because my easy run pace is like naturally around like 4:30. But I
Yeah.
feel like if I tried to slow it down to like 5 minutes a kilometer, then yeah, the potential to add more volume would be a lot easier, I guess, because yeah, the overall impact of the training is a little bit less, so you can build up the more time on feet, which from both your two cases is clearly like working well for you. So if you're looking to add more volume, then I guess being comfortable with slowing things down a little bit till you adjust is probably a good point as well.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. I 100% agree. And I wanted to touch too. We were talking about Ben's injury a little bit earlier, and he's kind of coming back from that out. Jake, you also pulled up a bit with was it a soleus, like the calf, a few weeks ago. Do you think that had any impact on race day for you at all in Valencia or no?
Yeah, hard to know. I mean, it was a short time. It was like one little down week, basically,
Yeah.
almost like a deload week, like an unintentional deload. And I was back to sessions pretty quickly. I did think so. I had like actually before I came back to UK. So what was that? 3 weeks out from the marathon, like the third final week, I was up in this Japanese village up with this pro team, like way up in Yamagata, like up north in the mountains, a bit like I did in the summer with this Suzuki team. And that was just after I'd done my calf in. I wasn't sure whether I'd even be able to train with them. I ended up sort of jumping back in, and it was painful. Like, yeah, it wasn't exactly great, but managed to like battle through it and ended up absolutely hammering some sessions, like probably 3 monster sessions while I was up there in a week. And almost, it felt like I was back on track, but I mean, I was probably pushing a little bit too hard. I was training with like a 206 marathoner, 208 guy, like, and I'm probably the most competitive man on earth. So it's like, if I'm in a session with them, to me, I'm going to kill myself to try and hang on. And like, I felt like, yeah, I'd had some great sessions, like things were looking pretty good, but yeah, I don't know, just kind of since coming back, just felt mechanically a little bit off. And then, I don't know, yeah, it was more just exactly how I was moving yesterday that was the weird thing. Instead of it being like a fitness issue, I feel like the base is there, it's banked. It's just maybe, yeah, it's just one of those days you just feel a bit crap. And that's the thing with a marathon. I think with other distances, you can maybe get away with it. When training, like you're doing a 10K tempo, 20K tempo, you can battle through that, but you feel a little bit off during a marathon, and it's a long way. Like you get exposed if it's not your day.
Yeah. I think I was thinking too, I think maybe some people were commenting this on your videos. I know you get a ton of comments, both of you guys do. That maybe like that little like down week, maybe you like hit a bit of a peak like from that, and like, you know, coming from that down week, did you think that at all, or were you worried about that at all? Like that was kind of like your body thinking you were in taper mode, or do you think that was like a non-factor?
I don't know. Yeah, I guess it was technically a little taper almost into that big week up there. But then I hit like a solid taper again after. I had like sort of that monster week.
Yeah.
Then it was sort of 2 lower weeks. I hit sort of a classic like 80% volume 2 weeks out, and then race week was probably 50 to 60. Like it looks like a lot on paper, the mileage, but then because my peak week was so high, it felt like I was doing nothing. Like it did, I felt fresh. Even my I noticed, yeah, the easy runs, like how you were saying, you do your easies very slow. I'm the same way. As soon as I taper, suddenly I feel like I'm flying on the easies. Like I'm running 410, 420s, and that feels super comfy. Whereas during a 280K week, I'm slogging out 5-minute Ks. Like that's a battle. So it does just, yeah, when you freshen up, it makes a lot of difference.
Oh yeah. I'm curious for both of you guys. So like, you know, we're not quite as big as you guys, of course, but like, you know, big enough where we get some like comments where people have opinions for sure about like how we're training, or like if I'm, you know, say something wrong in the pod, whatever, right? And I'm curious, like, you know, Ben, you just kind of came off injury, and you know, Jake, I'm sure you got all sorts of comments yesterday. Do you guys like let any of that stuff like get in your head, especially like when people try to tell you about like how you should be training and stuff? Does that like, do you guys read those into that at all, or no? I guess
I know
Ben,
you
if you
go
want
first,
to take
Jake.
that.
Okay. I feel like I'm very stubborn and very set on my ways. So
Yeah.
of course you get opinions like, even I did a live stream after the race yesterday. I thought I'd give people like an update, kind of feeling what happened. And of course, after that, there's a million different expert doctors and physios in the comments. Everyone suddenly seems to be a professional, and somehow know me better than I do. So of course, everyone's got an opinion there, but you can't listen to them. I think obviously people have useful feedback. It's good to have a look, but if you were listening to every single person, taking in all the advice, you'd be doing a different form of training or recovery or something every day. Like you've got to stick to a plan and find out what works best for you, which no one else is going to know. Like you realize after years and years what works best for you personally. So yeah, I feel like I just sort of block it out. I love the support. Like, most, like 99% of people who just want to be supportive.
Yeah. What do you get much of that, Ben, in your comments?
Yeah, I do get a little bit of it, especially like people when it comes to advice, or like they look at your training and they've got an opinion, or like they've had their own experiences that they obviously want to share with you. And yeah, you do have to take things with a little bit of a pinch of salt, as Jake was saying. Like as soon as you bring up something you're struggling with, suddenly you've got like thousands of people that are experts in it. So like my latest video, I went and did like a strength like analysis, hop test, running gait, all that sort of stuff to do like a kind of running MOT with a clearly like top physio from London. And then immediately there's people in the comments being like, have you checked to see if like one of your legs is longer than the other? And like, have you thought about doing this? And you're just like, oh, okay, like, trust me, like I'm not just making this stuff up. I go and get like expert advice. I take it on and then I listen to that information. So sometimes, yeah, you just have to take things with a pinch of salt. And like most of the time it's coming from a good place. People are like genuinely trying to help, like want to help you. Like they're invested in mine and Jake's like running journeys. They want us to do well. It's never coming from a malicious place, but you just have to be like, I really appreciate it, but I'm probably not gonna necessarily take that on board. And I had it massively when in the last sort of few months where I got into cycling. People are like, I'm obviously a beginner when it comes to the cycling side of things, so I don't necessarily know how to train. But like the amount of advice I had in my DMs was just like through the roof. Even when it came to my like Zwift setup, like make sure you've got a fan, make sure you've done this, make sure you get a bike, like analysis to measure things so that you're not like using one leg more than the other. It's just like, it's too much sometimes. You just have to blank some of it out. Otherwise, yeah, you'll go down these rabbit holes.
Yeah. I think, I mean, the honest truth is like, you both are doing what you're doing, like what you think is going to get you to the fastest times. Cause both of you obviously, create content, but you're like, your running goals are to run fast, right? So you're doing exactly what you think is going to get you there. And you can't, you have to do what you personally think is the right move. And, for Jake, that's running the high mileage. And, for Ben, that's working with Victor, doing the double thresholds, LT1, LT2 stuff. And, it's clearly been, Jake's ran 2:14 and Ben, you've, just had a great PB at Chicago and ran 1:06 in Valencia, in Barcelona. So yeah, clearly, you can listen, you can read the comments and stuff, but you got to always do what you think is going to get the best result for you. And everyone's different in that aspect. It's everyone's body and the way they're built is very different. So
Yeah, definitely. I think when you're always pushing your like peak for your personal like peak performance, you don't know where that red line is of like doing too much or not doing enough. Like if we all knew where it was, we would never push beyond that and we would never get injured. But unfortunately, when you start getting quicker and quicker, you have to look at things in terms of like, what am I going to do next to get to the next level? And you have to try and do something different. Ultimately, sometimes that pays off and you have an amazing race, or sometimes you overcook it and it doesn't go your way, and you kind of just have to own it and learn from it. So yeah, the YouTube comments are often very, very supportive, and like I feel like from a male to female content creator, it's very, very different. I won't even go down that rabbit hole, but yeah, most of the time it's all love and support, but you just have to pick and choose the bits that are helpful.
Yeah, for sure. Well, Jake, so you are gearing up for, I don't know if you've announced, I think you kind of mentioned that you're going to do another race in Japan, a marathon, maybe in February, right? And so I'm curious, any changes to training, anything new you're going to put in, or are you just going to stick to kind of what you've been doing, similar volume, race a lot leading up to the race? Anything going to change in your training plan going forward to that race?
So the biggest thing, so when I was up training with this team before, I was kind of testing out the environment because I'm thinking, so beginning of next year, I'm actually going to leave Tokyo, move up there full time. Because I've been trying, for basically 2 years to join a team. It's so difficult in Japan, like as a foreigner, absolute nightmare getting even just, so I wouldn't be able to officially join them, but I'd be able to move up there and effectively the coach is given the all clear to join all their workout sessions. So I can pretty much train as if I'm a team member, just I'm not salaried or whatever with them, which is fine. Like I've got YouTube, I can do my own thing. It almost gives me the freedom to still race how I like and a bit more flexibility with training, but I get these absolute weapons to pull me along in sessions that I think is just gonna like literally should just be leveling up if I can survive the training. So that's the big thing. And then actually the biggest thing that I've just been battling forever is the anemia, like iron deficiency, which completely wiped me out about a year ago. Because obviously, when you're running like 40K a day, it's probably not the healthiest on the body. And even though you can smash the iron supplements, all of that, I think just the amount of like pounding when every time you're hitting the ground, you're just killing those red blood cells like in your feet. So what I found is it constantly goes in these waves, like and it's almost the biggest indicator of my performance will be what my hemoglobin level is. And it's like the difference in like 1 point in hemoglobin is the difference between me running like a 220 and a PB at Tokyo 214. Like my fitness doesn't change at all. Like, but within a month or so, I can take effectively 5 minutes off my marathon time just by boosting my irons. It's like trying to get to the bottom of what the underlying cause is, why my iron keeps dropping back down. Maybe have a few like blood tests and stuff next week when I'm back in the UK and try and figure that out. Because I think that could be an absolute game changer if I could just boost the iron up a little bit.
Yeah. Do either of you take any other supplements, maybe besides, or Ben, if you take iron too, do you guys take anything that you would like recommend, just like generally runners would take? Like, I know a lot of runners that take like creatine. I don't take that, but do you guys take anything in particular besides, like, I guess, Jake, I know you take iron, that you would recommend to people?
Yeah, I take iron supplements as well for the same sort of reason as Jake, like the pounding the pavements. You break down the red blood cells. So I think it's a lot of runners who are like, I'd say if you're running 7 days a week, then there's probably a high probability that you are going to end up with some sort of iron deficiency over a long period of time. So it's definitely worth getting that checked out. You have to be obviously a little bit careful with taking iron supplements. If you take too much, then it can, I think, Jake, you've mentioned this before in some of your videos, and you can do damage to like liver or kidney. I'm not sure which. So like, I'm not saying like everybody should take iron supplements, but that's definitely something I take. I also take cod liver oil, which is like for grannies, but I find it's supposedly good for muscle and joint. So I take that, vitamin D, and then the only other one is like I recently started taking like collagen in my protein shakes, which is supposedly meant to be really good for tendinopathy. I've been dealing with like hamstring tendinopathy for the last like 6 months, and so collagen is kind of a new one. God knows if any of these things actually do help, but they're the supplements I'm currently taking, and hopefully they'll have make a difference.
Yeah. You take anything different besides iron, Jake?
I'm on the cod liver oil, big fan. Don't know if it does anything, but apparently it's meant to do some good. And then actually the ones that I think do make a difference is vitamin D and then vitamin C, just because like especially in winter, there's no way we're getting enough sunlight like in the UK or like I say most Western countries. Like there's no way you can get enough. And I think in about 2 years I've just never got a cold, never really sore throat, never felt sick. Maybe it's just placebo, but I feel like just taking those two feels like it sort of keep wards off the illness.
Yeah, for sure. I do vitamin D. I do calcium because I just came off that stress fracture, so I have to do the calcium, make sure that doesn't happen again. And then I do like elderberries. I have like sports-induced asthma, so I take it it's apparently good for lung health. So seems to be helpful. Might do totally nothing. So not sure. But I do an inhaler too, which is actually really helpful. If I don't use it on a workout day, I can tell I didn't use it. So that's very nice. Some pro cyclists like illegally, or like, if you guys remember Chris Froome.
That's exactly what came to mind when you said inhaler. I was like, oh yeah, don't all the pro cyclists have asthma?
Yeah, they say they do. Yeah. We actually what's his name? That Australian cyclist that's like now a really good runner. He lives in Barcelona. His name. Have you guys seen him?
Yeah.
Whelan?
Yeah, Jimmy Whelan. Jimmy Whelan.
Jimmy
Whelan.
Yeah.
He flew around in Barcelona half to like, was it 61, 62?
61.
Something like that.
His running form, he's the smoothest mover I've ever seen.
When I saw him running on a treadmill, I was like, I'm just going to give up.
Yeah,
Like,
it's just
there's
unfair.
not a chance
got
I'm
no choice.
competing with that. That is
Oh,
incredible form.
Yeah, I have terrible form. I'm like bow-legged, so like I'm a bad heel striker. So I gotta work on that. But yeah, he's got like, I mean, talk about having an aerobic base. Like, dude's just like drilling 6-hour bike rides at like a pretty, super high level, like really hard rides. No
Yeah.
impact on the legs. That like the legs get tired, but there's no like impacting with the ground. So yeah, he's like, I think when he came into running, it was like, I have this huge aerobic base. I just need to do some speed stuff now to get like race ready. And then like once he did that,
Yeah.
everything clicked. So
I did
it's
some
cool.
experimenting with that recently as well. I did 100 miles on the indoor bike, which was nearly 5 hours in like zone 2. 140 beats per minute for 5 hours. I was like, there's not a chance I would ever be able to do that running without like breaking down. And then like 2 or 3 hours later after the bike, yes, I was a little bit sore from like sitting in that position, but like legs wise, there was no like impact, no damage to the muscles at all. So I feel like, yeah, once you build that aerobic base, no matter how you build it, and then you go into more like run specific training, if your body can handle it, like obviously his can, then yeah, the possibilities are kind of endless with him. I'm interested to see like where his running goes next as well. I feel like he's only been focused on the half marathon for like a year or something like that, according like what he said in some of his interviews. So like, yeah, this guy could be like the next best European runner in the next like couple of years. So pretty fascinating to see stories like that.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, yeah. I think like, if you're just doing your easy stuff on the bike or on the road, it doesn't, you just gotta like, you want to do like the specific stuff on the road, obviously. But
Yeah.
yeah, the, zone 2, zone 1 stuff, I think it can be done wherever, as long as you get the heart rate up. So, um, Jake, I kind of wanted to ask too. So Sakura Osako broke the Japanese record yesterday, 204.55. Honestly, I mean, I know he's really good. I don't know if I was expecting 204 yesterday. Do you think that's sending shockwaves through Japan right now? I go on Japan Running News, and it was obviously like the top thing on there. I like going on that website and seeing what's going on. So, were you pretty impressed or surprised by his result?
Yeah, a bit like how in the UK, ours has been taken over by Alex Yee, the
Yeah.
Japanese side of social media. Because mine's with this weird algorithm split. It's like half my feed on Instagram's Japanese, half it's British. And it was just Suguru, literal takeover. He's literally like a god over there. He's the most, it's funny. So he's actually based out in, I think it's Boulder most of the time, but his home is Tokyo, and he actually lives right near me. So when he's back, sometimes he'll jog around Yogi Park, and he's always he's got a hoodie on, jogging like 5:30 Ks. Like, I've never seen him run quick ever, and he's just plodding around.
Dude, when I was in Tokyo, I saw him plodding around with like this kind of like slightly overweight American guy. It might have been his agent or his coach, but because his coach is an American guy, P. Julian, but who was affiliated with Nike Oregon Project. But yeah, like he was just plodding along. It was like a pretty warm day. He had sweatpants and a hoodie on. He's going 5:30 Ks. I was like, that's Suguru Osako. It's crazy.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
And then occasionally people will clock him, and you just like the Japanese, you just hear they'll go crazy, like, oh my God, so cool, so cool. Like you got just all these like middle-aged women just absolutely loving him. I guess he's a bit of a rock star there.
He's got the hair, man.
He's and tatted up as well. For Japanese,
Yeah, I
that's
noticed
like
that.
it's so un-Japanese.
Really?
But no,
Oh, cool.
he's a bad boy. Yeah, he's a proper Japanese bad boy.
I thought he retired like a couple of years ago.
He doesn't race much, but yeah, I don't know.
Now he's back.
He's also ancient for Japanese standard, because most of them I've never seen anyone running past 30. Almost like 25 is like getting on a bit in Japan. Most of them are done at late 20s. So he's almost the least Japanese in the way he trains, the way he thinks.
Yeah.
Like he goes to Kenya, does his altitude training. He's not part of one of these corporate teams. Like he's a pro runner, which is so few over there. So he's completely done his own thing, like trained almost like a European, like massive emphasis on the speed training instead of a lot of the Japanese go all in on the high volume, the sort of grindy tempo side. Whereas he switched it up, and clearly paid off.
Are any of the I use lactate testing some, and I know Ben is a big user of the lactate tester as well. I really like it because I think you can like immediately see like a bodily result like during a workout. Like, if I see 2.0, I think 2.0 is like around what marathon pace should be. Ben, correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah.
So it's like kind of good to see those metrics, right? When you're like working out, like, okay, this is going really well. Like, you know, based on my blood. Do you people in Japan use the lactate testing much or no?
I've never heard or seen anyone. I think there might
Yeah.
be a couple teams that are sort of introducing it. It's a bit split. Like there's the sort of old school Japanese method, definitely none of that. And I'd say
Yeah.
most of the teams, any team I've trained with, are just on the every workout, 100%. You're on the floor. Like it's the complete opposite of the sort of scientific, like
Yeah.
Scandinavian style training.
Yeah, it's
So
crazy that they managed to combine that with the high mileage as well, like high mileage and like a more European style of run sessions where they're just like hammering it every session.
I mean, it's probably why the burnout rate, dropout rate, injury rate so high, because they've got
Yeah.
such a big talent pool, like way more than in the West, like from a young age, that it's almost that pyramid where enough break through that there's like dead bodies littered along the way, but enough like to make it that they'll run these crazy times.
Yeah. I would do anything it takes to keep running as long as I can because I wouldn't want to be one of the salary men in Japan, the guys, the suited up guys on the subway working 12 hours a day. Oof,
Mate,
that's a brutal
living
life.
hell.
Yeah.
Brutal.
Is there like a lifestyle like that in the UK, like where like there's a pretty corporate lifestyle, or do most people have like a pretty good like work-life
The,
balance, would you guys say?
well, I lived in Sweden for like a year, so based on my experience over there versus the UK, the UK is pretty terrible for work-life balance, especially in like if you're in a corporate job in London, then you're basically living for the weekend. So there's not a lot of work-life balance. Whereas when I was in Scandinavia, they take like 2.5 hour lunch breaks, and so you can get in like training and stuff. So it's actually a pretty good place to spend and train. But like the winter over there obviously is not ideal. But yeah, no, work-life balance doesn't really exist in the corporate in London, I wouldn't say.
Yeah, huh. Yeah, Jake, you were in that life, man, before you moved to Japan. I saw in your video you just put out before the race where you showed the street where you're running, taking all your corporate clothes off. So that was funny to
It
see.
was for cinematic effect. I can't say it was that corporate. I was a teacher. I worked in a
Okay.
high school for 6 months, so
Okay.
it was more for dramatic videography. But it was still I was exhausted just doing that. Even it was like what 8:30 to 5 maybe.
Yeah.
But then trying to train around that, I was smashing the double days and stuff. And I thought that was brutal. So because Chris, you recently did you quit your job to go full time with coaching and social media?
Yeah, I worked 6 years in health insurance, and one day I was leading a meeting. There's 15 people in this meeting staring at me. It was a virtual one. And in the morning, I was just getting pulled so many different directions, and I never ever had anxiety ever, like stuff like that, mental stuff. And I had a panic attack in front of 15 people because I was just like so stressed out, and like they're all just watching me in a meeting, and I'm just like I'm frozen up, like my heart's racing, I'm sweating, and I was like, I think I'm having a heart attack, and it was just a panic attack. But at that point, I was like, I had to kind of look in the mirror and be like, this like job's like physically affecting me. And fortunately, we coach people, and so yeah, we had like enough income coming in for one of us to go full time. The other two guys aren't here because they are working right now. So, but yeah, I was able to go full time. We have like 90 runners we coach now, and and I get to do this during the day instead of working health insurance and be stressed out. So yeah, it's great, man. It was like a really scary leap because I was telling Ben earlier, my wife is 3 months pregnant with our first kid, so it's kind of funny timing to quit my job and do this. But all good so far. Everything's going up. So yeah, it's all good so far. So you guys,
Mate, it's a
both of you
bold
inspire me.
move. No,
Yeah.
congrats though. That's huge on the soon to be first child, and but like quitting the job, going all in. You living the dream now. That's unreal.
I think both of you kind of had similar moments. Like Ben said, he was cooking as a chef and a tomato exploded on his head, right? When you're on last, and then you quit on the spot, didn't you? So
Pretty much, yeah. That was the final straw. I'd wanted to leave for a little while, and when that happened, I was like, "This is just not worth my time." And yes, when you realise that the stress from work is like overflowing into your like home life, then that became a point where I was like, I want to try and do something different here.
Yep. It's a leap that a lot of people are scared to take, and I never thought I would, but I'm glad I
Could
did.
could you two ever see yourself going back into a more like 9 to 5 job?
Oh no, no. I was telling my wife about that. I was like, I can't like just having a boss again and like being in a corporate setting, like working for a company that like I don't know, just like being in that setting again, it like seems like impossible now. Like I would be like that'd be like a very sad moment, like logging back onto a job where like I have a standard zone where I have to work. I have a boss telling me what to do, all of that stuff. So yeah, no, I don't think I could see that. And hopefully, maybe this will implode in 2 weeks and I'll have to do it, but hopefully it doesn't. And we'll be fine. So, but no, I can't see that now that I've seen the other side of life. So it's good stuff. It's good
Yeah,
stuff.
once you got a taste of the freedom, you can't
Yeah.
go back. Surely, I don't. Yeah, it's crazy that I guess with social media and stuff, you can like make a living from what we're doing. Like none of us are elite runners, but I mean, like compared to the top dogs,
Yeah, true.
it's unreal that you can still find a niche. And I guess people want to follow along and coaching and YouTube
Yeah.
and different things. That it's pretty legendary.
Yeah. It's awesome, man. Social media it's a weird time to be alive. So it's a good time to be alive though. All right. Anything else, Ben or Jake, before we wrap this up, man?
No, I think it's been nice just to jump on, have a chat. Sorry it didn't all come together in Valencia for you, Jake. But as you said in your Strava caption, it was like it won't be long before there's a comeback because you're racing so frequently. So I'm sure for like a lot of people out there, like they're thinking, oh, Valencia was like the be all and end all for you. But I know you'll bounce back and in the next few weeks with another next week there'll be another headline story. So I'm looking forward to seeing what you do next.
Yeah, I think there is no luck in running. And I think, the work you're putting in is like it's just bound to pay off in a huge way for sure. So yeah, I'm looking forward to, your next race and, you're gonna have a huge performance eventually with all the work you're putting in. Same with you, Ben. I know you're gonna have a great next year. So yeah, it's just you're both doing the right stuff. So it's exciting time for sure. Oh yeah.
No, cheers, boys. Yeah, I feel like running. Yeah, it's a tough sport. There's always going to be ups and downs, and it makes it even more satisfying then when you do smash a race, you hit a PB, because you can't nail it every time. Like, there's always going to be shockers, but then, God, it feels good when you do. Yeah, come through eventually. Yeah, I've been loving following your guys' journey. So yeah, keep it up. Let's keep going.
We will. We will. All right. Episode 215. That's Valencia recap with Ben and Jake. We'll catch you on 216. See you then.